Hi there, I'm Ken Lammers. Welcome to Minor League Matters. And today we're going to talk about hockey. It's the weekly hockey report. So let's start out. Uh, right before I started this podcast, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs ended and the Washington Capitals won, defeating the Vegas Golden Knights. This was a preordained, well, I shouldn't say preordained, it was an obvious ending that I think we could all see after the NHL made it very clear that they were not going to stop the Capitals from doing the stuff the Capitals do. And when they didn't even call a penalty on Wilson and they didn't suspend him, yep, I mean, it was open season on anybody on Vegas's team, and they were able to play as dirty and rough as they wanted and get away with it, and it was over at that point. I really didn't have a dog in this race. I'm not a huge fan of either of these teams, but it would have been nice to see the last series in the Stanley Cup playoff uh, be more, last longer and be a more interesting series once the Capitals didn't have to worry about, interference calls, etc. Yeah, it was pretty much over. But this isn't a place where I talk about the NHL. This is a place where I talk about the minor leagues. And let's talk about what's going on in the minors, because we got some really good playoffs going on in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 leagues, the AAA and the AA leagues. In the Tier 2 league, the AAA league, the AHL, American Hockey League, there is a series that's tied 2-2, right? It is between the Texas Stars and the Toronto Marlies, which are, obviously the Texas Stars or Dallas Stars, the affiliated, and the Marlies are affiliated with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a really good series that's gone on. First match was won 6-5 by Toronto. The next match was won 2-1 by Texas. The next match was won 2-1 by Toronto. And the match that ended today was won 3-2 by Texas. So this has been a really good, really tight series. And both teams are playing like madmen. The Marlies are the last team in all of the professional upper levels hockey leagues that is from Canada. So they're carrying the whole weight of Canada on their shoulders. So they want to, I'm sure they'd love to win this no matter what, but it kind of is interesting. It is Canada's sport, and they're the last ones left. And I don't know that I have a dog in this race either, but it would kind of be nice to see a Canadian team win a championship somewhere. I know most of the players are Canadian, but most of the teams are in the States. So I guess more power to you, Marlies, although, the Stars are doing pretty well and playing pretty hard. It's an interesting matchup. Next match, I think, is Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. The ECHL, which is the Tier 3 affiliated hockey league, AA hockey, is also got a really good playoff going. Now, all the games haven't been as tight as they have in the AHL. The ECHL has the Florida Everblades playing the Colorado Eagles, right? And it has been, the first match was the Eagles 3-1. The second match was the Everblades 4-3, pretty tight game. The third match was 5-4 for the Colorado Eagles, which means, again, a fairly good game. The fourth match was 7-6 for the Everblades. So again, lots of scoring, but pretty tight match. And then the fifth was just a blowout. I mean, the Everblades blew the Eagles out of the arena 5-0. These happen once in a while, and the question was whether or not it was going to affect what Colorado played like thereafter, and it didn't, because Colorado then came back 4-2 and won that one. This is now tied 3-3. The rubber match for the entire series is going to be, which is the Kelly Cup. It's the Calder Cup for the AHL, the Kelly Cup for the ECHL. The rubber match is on Saturday. I think it's 7. I don't know where you could watch it except for buying it pay-per-view on the internet, and I am really tempted and may do that because I'll admit to you, I've been listening to them on the audio podcast, and gotta say, it doesn't work as well on the audio podcast. Hockey doesn't really cover too well. You know, it's hard to describe exactly what's going on, but on video, it's amazing. So I would suggest to any of y'all, if you really want to watch some good hockey, and I mean really hardcore desperation play hockey, you know, watch the final matchup of the ECHL. The AHL still got at least, you know, 2 more games to go, which is interesting. Both of these are ending after the NHL's playoffs are done, and I think the AHL would have probably, even if the Stanley Cup had gone 5 or 6 games, maybe not if it had gone 7. I'm not sure, but it's interesting that they're scheduled so that they're going to end up that way. Anyway, go watch some of these because they're going to be really good matches. You'll have to go online and pay-per-view to watch them, and I'm not sure what the price is. I can't guarantee the price will be reasonable because hockey is amazingly expensive to watch minor leagues streaming games. It's not like minor league baseball. They don't take care of the fans really. Beyond that, okay, I think that's it for this report on hockey. If you like what you saw here today, just hit like. If you like what you see around here generally, hit subscribe. Comments down below. I promise I'll read them. I cannot promise that I will answer them because got the day job, and for some reason my boss actually expects me to work at the day job. I'm not sure what that's all about. In any way, I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice I leave every time. If you got a little bit of spare time and you got a little bit of spare money, go watch the minor league sports. Y'all have a good weekend or week now.